Today on Khaldor TV we have another ESL Major League match. It is well met going up against SK Gaming, two really strong teams, and of course especially SK Gaming has been playing extremely well in the past few weeks. Map number 1 in the best of 3 series that we're going to look at today is Sky Temple, a map that is a bit snowbally and where teams really have to, especially in the early minutes, be extremely stable and make sure that they don't make any mistakes. You get punished very hard for that, and comebacks are very difficult on this map in particular. So we're going to jump into map number 1. I'm going to try and find out who is going to take the lead in the best of 3 series here at the ESL Major League.
Welcome to another ESL Major League match, ladies. Sometimes we also welcome the gentlemen, not so today though, because we are on Sky Temple, which is of course not an explanation, but I wanted to say it anyways. We're having SK Gaming going up against Well Met, and starting to the left side of the map here in the first map of the best of 3 series, we're having SK Gaming with Alaragi on the Stitcher, Zamoni on ETC, Snitch on Zebo, Bakery on Sergeant Hammer, and Kumatobos on Rega. To the right side of the map, in red, it is Well Met with Hazuops on Vala, Gerd Amherd on Illidan, Nomi playing Diablo, Soccer, Tassadar, and Hiruka on Brightwing. Yeah, we had very interesting games already today, and this is not really making an exception here. We have a bit of more love for Diablo, the Lord of Terror. He has a very lonely heart as well, and he loves that he's seeing a bit more action these days. I mean, the guy has needs. Oh my god, our Ragi, holy crap, that trap! Very well done. The body blocks, yeah, Hazorb, Soccer, and all those bad boys. They know how you pull a Warcraft 3 body block in. Well, Hazorbs maybe not so much as Soccer maybe not as much, not so much as Hazorbs, but still, that was a pretty cool trap. Basically, just making for a hero to move down to the bot lane, and it worked out very well. The first blood ending up in the hands of Well Met, and we all know that on this map in particular, every single piece of EXP really matters, especially at the beginning of the game when you are aiming for those temples. We're having the slam build on our Aragi's Stitches. Our Aragi actually like loving that Stitches play, and he usually plays a bit of a hybrid build. We could see that in this game as well, but a full slam build wouldn't hurt either. Gerd actually on his Master Skin Illidan, level 10, having in terms of talents no big surprises here just yet. The Soul Feast on level 1 is the standard talent when you go for Diablo. Nice ward already revealing Gerd Amherd here. Zamoni versus Hazorbs is still in position with Brightwing getting Bribe, and we are already moving into the first temple phase right now, so teams are starting to rotate to the first temple here. The top temple is taken by Brightwing, who could always jump down to the bot lane if need be. For now we're having Bakery and the rest of the SK team just claiming the mid temple, and Well Met is just rotating away. They still have Nomi down to the bottom lane, and I actually do not like the strategy of SK Gaming at all. SK Gaming is really blowing this right now. They're losing a lot of experience at the bottom lane, and that is a problem. Our Ragi is currently being flipped over here. Nomi's still there. That's nearly a level lead that we already have for Well Met, and that is absolutely, that is like gigantic advantage if you are on a map like Sky Temple. Even if you only have half a level of an experience lead, that is absolutely massive. I cannot really repeat that often enough, because the second temple phase, that's when only one single temple is activated all the way up at the bot lane, and that's usually the time when we're having level 10 hitting for one of the teams, and that's the team that gets most of the experience at the early game, and right now that's Well Met. So Well Met might be able to win that second temple phase easily if SK is not able to get another kill in there, and this wave is going to give a lot of experience. It's basically a double wave that's going to give experience to the team now as well. Nomi is trying to bait Zamoni in so that he can flip him over the wall, and he's really waiting for that, but Zamoni is of course very well aware of what might be going on there, at least he should be. And yeah, top lane, that's also a fort that was destroyed here. Nearly level 7 already for Well Met. SK, I am not really liking their position here. That early game is definitely won by Well Met right now. That of course doesn't give them a win in the game just yet, but it certainly gives them an advantage in the early game that might carry on to the late game. So Stitcher still with the slam build. We're having Gathering Power taken up on the Zebo on level 4. Far side on Rega, after we've seen Most of those additional talents for the wolf form taken from Fnatic's Ace of Spades. We're seeing now the standard build on Rega with a level 7 talent also taken. No Echo Paddle, but Pawn Shop Guitar here on Zamoni's ETC, going for the reduced mana costs on the guitar solo. It always surprises me a bit to see that, because most players don't really rely too much on mana reduction talents and instead go for very different ones. Mule only for SK now. No Mule for Tacita. I was actually waiting for quite some time and apparently debating whether he should take Mule or not. It's a great talent to take on a map where the objectives attack the structures of your opponent directly. In this case, though, they value the damage on Tacita over the that great tool in the late game. Another problem that well, you could actually talk about both of the teams taking those hard camps a bit too early. I don't think that it matters for Well Met just because they already took down that fort, but usually you want to take that hard camp quite late, so that while you fight for the bottom temple, the hard camp can do work. You really time that normally. The temples activate 2 minutes after the last shots have been taken from the previous round, so that's something that you usually can calculate. We have Zamoni at the bottom lane, very much alone, with Bakery, Kumatobos and Araragi as well as Snitch trying to join him. And it looks like Wilmette is not even going to try and go for that temple. They are aiming for the additional experience, but that's a bit of a surprising play to me. We also don't see Brightwing at the top lane, so apparently, well, either they just screwed that up big time, and I think they did, or the plan was to soak the lanes all along, and it doesn't really look like it. Usually you would rotate Brightwing over to the top lane so that he can jump in with a phase shift. That gives you a lot of time. But in this case, they hit level 10, and now they can go for the fight, but they lost more than half of the shots of the temple. So that was, I would say, a bit of a communication error on the side of Wilmette. Brightwing should have rotated to the top lane to gather up experience. They should have moved down with the rest of their heroes faster than that, and then they could have gotten the entire temple and not only a few of those shots. They are still ahead, but plays like this put you in a bit of a pickle. Now suddenly we have Soccer on his ultimate. So far we don't see Apocalypse being used. Our Aragi is jumping away or trying to. Oh, Soccer is about to die, but he might still live here if Kumatobos and Zamoni are not getting close, and they are indeed not. A second death already against Stitches, but Illidan dies now as well. That's the counter kill that SK can provide here. And I'm not quite sure why Kumatobos is moving back in again. That temple is already depleted. But yeah, a bit of a weird play here on level 10. I mean, you know how important that second temple is, and I was quite surprised to not see Hiruka move to the top lane and switch places with Soccer a bit earlier than that. Now suddenly, it might still be a lead in experience for them, but that is not going to hold for too long. Nomi is trying to get Zamoni out of position, but well, good luck with that against ETC. That is not easy at all. It's still alive, that that fort, and that means it can be muled up, so SK should probably try and rotate down with Stitches and try to kill that. Zamoni, can he use his ult? He does have it still in cooldown, so he cannot, and this means that he's most likely going to die here. Stitches decided to go up to the top lane and gather up split push experience, but that also means that they just lost ETC, and not only that, oh, they don't have Mule, my bad. So yeah, they didn't take Mule, they actually valued the static charge talent over Mule. So that's a bit unfortunate for them. That's exactly the reason why Mule taking on this map is pretty damn good. So in this case it doesn't matter that they were not able, for SK at least it doesn't matter that they weren't able to take down the structure. So yeah, an interesting game to see, at least that early game start. I mean, well, Med is doing really well still, but they could have had a bit of an easier time, I suppose. So right now we're having Snitch moving back, Hiruka is in position right over here, Hazops, Nomi, Gadamhead and Zoka are already moving back and trying first of all to well up on Zoka. The temples are activating again, and that means that you are fighting for those tower shots or those temple shots once more. ETC is going to become one of the important heroes since he has that global presence now with his stage dive, but he is moving back and not even going for the temple. So we have at the top lane also the temple not taken. Both of the teams are playing this a bit slow, trying to react to what the opponent does, waiting what's going to happen, and that 13 talent hits faster for Wilmette, which forces now SK Gaming to wait for the talent first. Actually, ETC is moving to the top lane and trying to claim a bit more experience here. We have Frost Shot now taken, as well as Relentless and the 13 evasion talent on Illidan. Also, Shrink Ray and Brightwing. What is he going to go for on 13? Are we going to see Sprint? Is he going to go for something completely different? We're having a Feral Lunge taken, Barricade, Sprint, and Uber Rockstar, as well as the additional Slam talent on the side of SK. ETC is not jumping. He is jumping out right now. Jumps in immediately, just in time. Bala is already dead, actually. Two heroes stunned out by that Apocalypse. And they are aiming for Zocke, and they will get Zocke. Zocke is not going to escape here. He has no chance. The two of the heroes are dead. That means that they can rotate towards the boss, and they're going to get the boss first. They're going to go for the boss first. SK is starting to take boss here, and after that they can rotate down and take maybe a few more temple shots. Of course, Wellmet already assuming that the next thing that happens here is boss being taken, and that's why they are cheeky enough to move in and try to take even more shots. But Zamoni is already there just in time as we see Brightwing moving back. The rest of the team rotates up to the top lane. Zamoni, of course, killing off the fort with a few temple shots that he has. The boss will push in the bot lane, and that will force Wellmet down to the bottom as well. Up at the top, a few of the shots still ending up in the hands of SK, and they take level 15 faster, so they have taken the experience lead. They have taken the experience lead. We should see Mule working in the mid lane, and indeed it does. So Mule is doing his work here. Over there, Illidan was trying to maybe take a camp, but yeah, they need to rotate down, defend against the boss, and that will leave the camp open for SK. SK is taking the camps away from Wellmet now. Could go and take the top fort as well, and so they should. They should take that fort. And Brightwing isn't even with them just yet. Of course, he will move in with a phase shift, at least if he gets the opportunity to. Tower is already down. Brightwing is about to jump in as we speak. And heroic abilities, we have quite a few still available, especially that Ravenous Spirit. Apocalypse isn't there yet. Nice healing. Our Ragi survives for now just because of Rhaegar and his ult. Where is Snitch with his ultimate? He's usually pretty damn good on his Nazebo, but right now, with all those stuns that we've seen and the Apocalypse counter, we haven't seen too much of that yet. Here comes the old form. Snitch is trying to go for Hazops, doesn't get him, but Illidan is in trouble. Finally, Apocalypse is being used, and Stitches is down. Hazops very low, but he is moving in once again, but he doesn't get that frost shot in to slow down Zamoni. And with Napalm being used over and over again by Bakery, Sergeant Hammer is getting his DPS and it forces the opponent to abandon the chase. So they're already starting to move back. The mid lane, that's where they are starting to also lose ammunition on the fort. But too much is being taken out here. At the bottom lane, we're having still, well, not too much happening. That boss was, of course, defended against. We have maybe a bit of a push for Wellmet coming in with a double lane right now. 16 talents are available for SK. They have a slight advantage in this, but not for too long. Slam build is now complete with Pulverize. Tenderizer is still, by the way, the talent that he took on level 7 instead of going for the extra poison. Also Executioner, with all that stun and that slow that we're seeing on their side, makes sense, especially with Rhaegar. Blood for Blood next to the Feral Lunge and an imposing presence on ETC. Double Blood for Blood on the other hand for Wellmet, together with an imposing presence on Diablo, and Quitterize being used. Oh, that hook nearly hitting Hazops, but not quite. And the temples are starting to activate right now. In 13 seconds, it's going to be there again. The Stitches is starting to do quite a lot of work, as you can see. 16,000 damage is a lot, and he will be able to get even more with the stun now. And especially one of the things that he can do with that is also irritate Illidan quite a bit if he tries to jump in once again. Temple already taken, and apparently what Wellmet is going to try and do is just like move in, threaten, keep, and force SK back. The hook is not hitting anything vital. And Gerd is still looking for an angle, still looking for an opening here. Oh, our Ragi should be careful here. Yeah, but he's not isolated enough. You still have ETC in the mid lane, so they get the shots on the temple, they put pressure onto the fort here. That will give them an advantage in stats at least. They have level 17 versus 16 now. It's a slight advantage that they have, but it's there. And we're having Nomi jumping in with an overpower. Araragi, where's that heal? There it hits, but Zamoni might be the one dying for it. Zamoni being healed in last second, but dies regardless. Bakery with all that damage, but it does not matter. Both of the tanks go down. Araragi and Zamoni are both dead. They kill Diablo, but he's going to be back in just a second. Snitch is able to drop Brightwing too, but that is just simply not enough, especially since Rhaegar was blown apart in the last few seconds of this as well. It's just so tricky for them to really get a hold of Gerd Amherd now on his Illidan, since we're having Sokka providing the shields every single second along that way. And even if you kill Diablo, that bastard is always back in a second. Resurgence back in the day gave you the same ability, but Blizzard has taken that out, and boy are we happy about that. But Diablo is still a pretty big nuisance, and I mean, the Lord of Terror had a lot of practice. He was killed in Diablo 3 over and over and over and over again. So, in Diablo 1, 2, and yeah, well, in every Diablo basically. So he has a lot of experience when it comes to dying. And that's why he can still come back in just a few seconds. At least if he gathers up those souls. So, job well done by Wellmet in this particular fight. And that puts both of those teams on eye level again. They first game, it's pretty hard to tell who's going to win it here. The last fight ended in favor of well met. It's all about the positioning right now and how you get into these fights. Focusing on Diablo, who lost souls and therefore hit points, is probably not the best idea. 5,500 hit points are no joke, even though we have on Stitches nearly the same amount. Not even going for a sustained build. Oh, Hiruka needs to be extremely careful. And well done. Oh, that was really well done. Nice zoning out, making sure that he does dodge both the hook and the wall of zombies. Camps, of course, that's the big part. Are they really going to go for boss? Oh, that would be extremely ballsy. Okay, they don't. As well, Matt gonna try and get it. 18 versus 18, I mean, this is a high risk, high reward play if you really try to steal boss. It's something that can lose you the game in an instant. Zamoni is at the top lane and is trying to push that lane out, so he is not going to have too much trouble with that. But well, we still have the rotations from Wilmette trying to deep push the camps that are taken here. And that is, of course, I mean, it's really something that is just in the middle of it. You want to take that. It's like basically a basket of gummy bears just standing somewhere. And you really want to eat it, but you know it's a trap. You know that somebody is going to catch you and you will be in a hell lot of trouble for it. It's probably meant for some kind of like birthday cake that your mom is going to prepare. And if you eat it, then you're going to be in so much trouble. But it's still tempting. And that's exactly what that boss is like. Also, of course, now another point of focus for us is that Temple at the top lane and at the bottom lane. Wilmette is rotating down to the bot lane, and that could mean that Stitches is going to try and get the one up at the top. Boss is still there, and Nomi, I mean, he wants it. You can see that he stepped it. He's always looking at it. He's looking like, ah, shiny, kill it. I don't know why Nomi suddenly talks like Gollum, but yeah. Oh, getting that Guardian hooked out there. All right. So yeah, Bakery, Kumatobo, Snitch, they're all still in position down here. But at the top lane, we're having Zamoni actually pushed back by the Guardian, but Hiruka won't be able to do anything against them. So they start to move up to the top lane to get the Bruiser camp, but that of course leaves the boss here also open. The first ward been put into place so that they know exactly what's happening over here. But yeah, that is already putting pressure onto the keeps. But the mule is now starting to become extremely valuable. I mean, you want to have that mule in a situation like this. If it's really like one of those plays or one of those matches that lasts for an eternity, you want to have a mule to heal those structures up again. And currently, well, it doesn't have that. That is a big plus for SK. I mean, that's damage on the keep that you will not be able to negate with a mule. So, yeah. There's already Araragi, Bakery, Snitches. They're rotating again. ETC is just waiting for an opportunity to jump in. He's always ready for that. He was born ready. He's like Kung Fu Panda. He is trying to, or he will try to jump in for that. The mule is still doing his job. And both of the teams are just so careful right now. It's the 20 talents that they both want. Oh, then kill, an isolation kill like this one that we could see. Nice heal. Kumado boss saves his own ass, but it's a 5 versus 3 all of a sudden. It looked tempting. They're jumping in now. Araragi is just barely getting away, and SK has to retreat now. But Nomi is in trouble. Uses Apocalypse, but he might die here. Nomi is pushing him out, but he dies, and now for 60 seconds he is dead. 60 seconds and Diablo won't be part of it. Level 20 talent with a Hardened Shield. They're going for Sock and drop him. Blink taken. Ravenous Spirit into Annihilating Spirit. And now it's time for the boss. Nomi won't get his bucket of gummy bears, but it will be SK Gaming. They get all of them. They take down the boss, and at the same time it's already pressure with another camp that was taken earlier by ETC up to the top. 19 versus 22 heroes down. Boss is going to be claimed, and well, with the boss taken and also the additional camp taken right over here, they can now move in and try to drop a few of the keeps. There's still another 30 seconds until Tacita is going to be part of the equation again, and that is putting a lot of pressure on it, especially the bottom lane. Now with 2 shrines or temples appearing on the map, that is even worse. SK can just simply abandon the idea of pushing the bot lane, let the boss do his thing, pin down well met with this, and then go straight for those 2 temples and try to get both of them. We're having Nexus Blades taken on Illidan in this case. We're seeing the Twilight Archon together with also, well, I guess Blink on the Bolt of the Storm on Bala. We're having the continuous wins on Brightwing and Storm Shield. Storm Shield on Diablo. Who has heard of that? Support from Diablo? Support spell? Like, how does that make sense? The Lord of Terror suddenly has a bit of a sympathy streak for the rest of his team. It makes him it's gonna make him even more survivable, but more tanky. But at the same time, of course, Blink is something that we see a lot for him. Yeah, but those two temples, I mean, the first keep is gone. Up here at the top, we are having ETC, who's going to jump in to help out with that. If they lose a second keep, that would be all that they need. Oh no, Soccer is so low! Soccer with his ult, trying to use it here, the healing ward in a perfect position. No ult yet from Snitch. Snitch knows that Apocalypse is ready, but ETC goes down again. Araragi just doesn't have the hit point pool that they need for this. Maybe Zamoni should have just tried to outplay them with another temple taken, but they're jumping in. They want to have Nomi. The ults are down, a lot of them, but we still have Hazorps with his. Soccer might not be able to move back. He does. Oh my god! Oh my god! They get 2 kills. Snitch with the perfect move before he's stunned out. They get double kill, and now they get the temple over here, putting pressure onto the keep, and this is going to drop the keep. The 5 extra shots from mid-temple are going to finish it off. That's 2 keeps down against 0, and with all that ammunition that we see up at the top, it means that they could potentially take down at least the tower over here, and that is bad news, because that means that not only could they simply push in with 5 heroes at some point, if we have more temples on the map, just simply claiming one of them, once that this keep is down, would mean that they would lose it. And it looks like the keep is going to fall. Oh yes, it's definitely going to fall. They aren't going to even do some damage to the shield. They won't really damage the core, or will they? Actually, let me think about that. They could... Do they have... Nah, 5 shots, it shouldn't really damage the core itself. Only take the shields down and they will regenerate again. Yeah. But it's still the same problem. Once we're having the next temple activate, this could be all over. And, well, 20 minutes in, the next temple phase should provide us with 3 temples to be taken. So, well, Met right now is in a really shitty position. I mean, that is a very, very bad spot for them to be in. Look at those heals, by the way. We're having 31,000 by Tassadar, 57,000 by Brightwing. 53,000 by Rhaegar. In regards of damage, especially Sergeant Hammer is once again making sure that she's one of the main damage dealers in the game. But yeah, SK is in a splendid position right now. They're in a great spot, but they can still not afford to lose a big fight. If they lose a big fight right now, they can still easily lose this game, and they know this as well. They can just simply outmaneuver the opponent. They can just simply like defend for now, wait for the next temple phase to hit, and then try to run it with the temple and go straight, just like rotate a hero over to the one in the top lane, another one to the bottom lane, a few heroes in the mid lane, and just trying to run away from the opponent, never taking a fight and just like playing the objectives. 9 kills against 8, and already camps pushing in the bot lane together with those catapults, and Brightwing is not going to be able to just push out both of the lanes. So Wellmed has to move back. They were trying to fake a bit of a pressure play here, but they cannot really accomplish that properly. It's a minute on the boss as well, so that's another thing that they can do here. We're having our Ragi, Bakery, Snitch, and Kumato boss just like rotating throughout the map, trying to get a position here. And here come the temples. And, well, if they don't screw it up, this should be game. If they don't screw it up in 20 seconds, this should or could be game. It's all about how you position yourself right now, how you judge your opponent's movements. Of course, ETC is going to split from the rest of the team, since he can do that. He's going all the way up to the top. Hiruka is already there. The attempt to get Araragi, they're going for him. They might be able to drop him here. Bakery actually is still there as well. Oh my god, Bakery is dropping a boss, taking over. Unbelievable. And ETC jumped in. They lose Vala. The Bakery is back right now. He jumped back in and get here. Is he about to die? Yes, he dies. And, well, this, ladies and gentlemen, is conclusion of game number 1. This is now a matter of time. 3 heroes down, Diablo coming back, but 3 temples activated on the map and not a single structure left to protect the core. This is going to be game. 1 temple alone is going to win it for you, and they have 2 already. This is Zamoni and SK Gaming going straight in for it. Hiruka calls the GG. They know that they cannot contest this any longer, and as you can see, it's going to take down the hit points in a jiffy. This is going to be, ladies and gentlemen, on Sky Temple. We see SK Gaming victorious against Wellmed in this best of 3 series at the ESL Major League, jumping now, of course, into game number 2 between the 2 teams.
SK Gaming with a victory on map number 1, taking the lead in the series. And of course, we're having now the map choice of Wellmed going into that second map. And Wellmed was actually thinking about this quite hard, and they chose to go onto Sky Temple again. Once again, they want to play Sky Temple against SK. It's not going to be easy, but they got a great jumper comp with Illidan and also ETC in this particular match. And of course, Wellmed trying to turn things around here and to just play SK Gaming to the wall and win 2 in a row so that they can get another victory in best of 3s here at the Major League. We're going to jump into game number 2 between SK Gaming and well met at the Major League on Sky Temple.
Game number 2 in the series between SK Gaming and Well Met happens again on Sky Temple. The teams chose to go into the same map once more, and of course SK is in the lead after they already defeated their opponents on this map once before. We're having currently our Ragi to the left side here on Sky Temple on Stitches, Bakery on Sergeant Hammer, Zamoni this time on Tyranda instead of ETC. We're having Snitch playing Vala, and Kumato Boss is playing Rega. To the right side of the map it's Hazops on Azibo, Gadam Head on Illidan, Nomi on ETC, and Soccer on Tacita as Yuruke is playing Uther. A pretty interesting draft that you can see there already, and there was of course a lot of mind games involved in this one. An Illidan comp got contested by counter picks, like taking Rega away from Illidan was of course one of the missions here. At the same time we had a ban on Diablo by SK, already indicating that they were thinking about going for Nazeebo again, and they really love to do that, especially since Snitch is a pretty sick Nazeebo player. So in this case Well Met decided to pick Nazeebo away from their opponents, and yeah, those mind games, it's going to be interesting to see who they work out for. The teams both have very, very solid comps if you just like look at the heroes here, so we could see that match going either way. Ragi and Zokke are battling it out in the mid lane. Up to the bottom it's Nomi versus Snitch, and to the top it's the tri lane for both of the teams trying to get that early lead advantage. This time there was no trap for by Well Met trying to get that early kill. Not happening this time. But yeah, in regards to the talents, block talent on level 1 for Stitcher is pretty normal. And actually our Aragi going for a very interesting deviation from Chew Your Food on level 1. He goes into the Regeneration Master talent. Not really a fan to see it on this map. I've heard about a few players picking it on other maps. I think on a map like Blackheart's Bay it's pretty decent because you get the extra globes that you get from all of the additional camps, especially the pirate camps. But usually the standard talent would be to go for Chew Your Food and then Amplified Healing if you want to go for a sustained build. Maybe we see a bit of a deviation in build that makes a bit more sense than later on, but this is usually a very, very fast map compared to other ones. So I'm curious to see how he's going to develop that build going into the later levels. We're having Hazops and Yuruke now going straight for the mid lane, and one of the temples is taken by SK, the other one taken by Well Met, and both of the teams extremely close in experience. I mean, there's not really an advantage to one of them. Echo Paddle already taken, as well as Healing Ward. We're seeing Gathering Power. We have the potential for Mule for both of the teams, by the way, just as a side note, with Tyranda in the game, and then also, of course, we're having Tacita. At this point, it is Amplified Healing that is being used there. Kumato Boss is together with Sergeant Hammer trying to hold the top lane. Zamoni in position in the middle, but he's being pushed back by a Soccer quite significantly. Level 5 for both of them. Far side on Rega, and actually Tyranda on level 4 going for the Protective Shield instead of the Healing Ward. They do have a Healing Ward on Rega, and apparently decided that what they are trying to do is negate a lot of the burst damage that is definitely going to happen in this game. On the top lane again, Yuruke has ops, and Gadam Head is already rotating over to the camps here, and immediately the far side, so they know what's going on. They are taking their own camp, SK that is. They're seeing Healing Ward and Protective Shield both taken on the side of Well Met, of course. And they are going for Immolation on Illidan. Not a surprise here. Standard build on Illidan. Deviations are usually only recognizable on level 13. Yeah, 3 versus 3. They don't really want to fight that. Raragi being stunned here. Gadam here. They're protecting him still. Snitch is starting to rotate over, thinking about it. They're fighting this battle. They're fighting that 3 versus 3. Aragi's moving back, and Gerd is still taking the camp. Well done by Well Met. Fighting for this one, but of course with the rotations there is some experience missing for Well Met, and it's level 7 that hits much faster in this particular situation for Team SK Gaming. That might give them the lead in the second temple fight that they need, but still it's a very, very small advantage that they have here, so it should be a fight on eye level. We're having a Mule taken, as already assumed, on Tyranda, and Tenderizer, the talent, on our Stitches player here. So going for the Tenderized talent here still, but going for Regeneration Master over the usual talent, which would be Chew Your Food. Currently we have the Mule on Nazeebo again, giving up Gitbin in this game. We saw the same happening in the last game when Nazeebo was run by SK Gaming. This time, well, Met is of course the team are going for it. Mule's already being used up here at the top. Teams both aiming straight for that hard camp, and the temples should activate in, yes, 14 seconds, there they are. Oh, ETC killed at the bot lane. Great kill here. Really nice move, but Snitch is very, very low. And that is, of course, a bit of an issue. He gets the rest of the experience and then moves back. Needs to make sure that he's going to be back in time for the fight at the Temple. Well, he just goes for a well. Doesn't even go all the way back. Doesn't even go full back. So we're having the top rotation to the bot lane now. And level 9 hitting faster for Wilmette thanks to that move. Oh, sorry, for SK Gaming, of course. Mid lane could be attacked by Sergeant Hammer and maybe even by Kumatsu, not yet. If they get the experience for level 10, that would be amazing for them. That would be exactly what they need here to win the Temple and maybe also a big team fight. Snitch is still very low. That's the biggest problem that they have right now going into this battle. Down to the bottom lane, that's why we're having that already with a position for Wilmette. That can actually like turn into a death trap. This can turn into a death threat. They're trying to take one of the heroes down. Healing Ward in a great position. Really good spot for the Healing Ward. They're going straight in for Nomi. Nomi really low. He needs to power slide away, and he does. But yeah, they're chased away for now. Healing Ward is immediately dropped by Aragi. He's like a bloodhound sniffing that one out. And yeah, level 10 is going to hit faster for SK Gaming here. They have the heroic abilities already. They are half a level ahead, and that's why we're seeing the rotation from Wilmette. They got a lot of the shots of the tower, so that was a really good play from them. Making sure that they got those tower shots, but they're still falling behind just slightly. And with Kumato Boss moving up to the top lane, I do not think that SK is going to lose out on a lot of experience here. The waves are being cleared by Sokugedam Head and Hazop, but Kumato Boss is going to be there. He needs to be careful though, of course, because it looks very much like Wilmette is going to try and take the fort down. And there is no rotation happening. Apparently it's going to be a trade, bot fort against top fort. That's what they're going for. In terms of heroic abilities, pretty much the standard. The only exception is Mosh Pit, that we don't see a lot on this particular map. Usually it's stage dive here. We had Cleanse used just a second ago to help out ETC. Nomi was nearly dropped there. The forts are traded, so it's a fort for a fort in this case that they got here. And yeah, with that happening, I mean, right now it's also the steal. Oh, is it the steal? No, it's not. Nomi's jumping in. And there's already the Starfall, but they might have to move away. There's 5 versus 3. They might still be trapped here. They might still be trapped. Hazobs, yeah, okay. I mean, he could have tried to go for a wall of zombies, but that's also overextending. If the hook hits him, he doesn't really know if the cooldown is still on or not, and if that hook hits, then he's in trouble. Siege Giant Cam has been taken out, so it's not really a big deal. But it's still the earlier level 12 for SK Gaming, only giving them an advantage in stats, of course, but still, it puts them closer to level 13 for sure. So right now, we're having both of the teams. Oh, Illidan up here at the top, trying to claim one of the towers, so Moni can't do anything about that. He can try to lay a bit of a trap, but yeah. Aragi is already there. Gadam had moved back in time. He didn't get fooled by this. He was not trapped here. That juicy boss. Nomi is just moving around it. Yeah, you can't fight for that. Yeah, it just doesn't happen. Not at this stage of the game. Temples are activating. No global presence for neither one of the teams. We don't have Stage Dive ETC. We don't have Brightwing, so you need to walk all the way. And this is a big map. This is a very, very big map. Takes you an eternity to cross the map like this, but our Aragi is on. Stitch is still moving up to the top, so apparently they're not even trying to go for the bottom, but are still trying to soak up experience right over here, getting that temple and defending as much or as well as they can the bot lane. Commander Boss, Snitch, Bakery, and Zamoni, they're still here. They're waiting for an opportunity. They're not going to go jump in for that. They have the 13 talent faster. That gives them a lead. Could have maybe tried to fight with that, but they decided to not do it and instead have Stitches at the top lane gathering up the shots here and doing that solo. But with their 13 talent, they should at least be able to defend that fort a bit longer, but it will drop regardless. That temple is too strong. Even if you use that mule, it's not going to make up for all the damage, but it's going to soak up a few more shots. So the 13 talents with Relentless, Frost Shot, Lunar, Blaze, Feral Lunge, and Barricade used on the heroes. At the top lane, our Aragi is doing his thing, and that should help him to actually... He needs to drop this. He needs to drop this. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. Yep, that could be bad. That could be really bad, because that mule is going to heal it up. So a bad situation right now for them. Oh, Bakery is being killed. Yep, Illidan surviving in the last second. Nice fight for Wilmette down here, and now suddenly things moved out. That strategy to send Stitches up to the top lane did not work out at all. I guess hindsight is always 20/20, but it would definitely have been better for them to have Stitches down here and attack with a 13 talent or try to get a fight done. Because right now they're fighting a 4 versus 5. Yes, the boss is helping them to a certain extent, and the Whirlwind too. That might actually be enough. Are they getting Gadam hurt? Get! They get! And Kumato Boss is rushing towards Nomi. Feral Lunge being used. I can't believe that they're actually able to win that fight here. They kill Tassadar too. A nice dodge by Nomi, and it looks like they're moving back for now. Can they get the boss? Yeah, they should be able to. Nice! I mean, SK really not winning those temple fights, like not at all. Up at the top, we're having probably another mule being dropped very soon to heal that up to full health. But they get the boss, and that was pretty big. Getting that helped them a lot. We have a double sprint on the side of well met. Oh, Zamoni, oh my god, like that. That boss is not joking around, is he? Evasion talent über Rockstar taken, a bit more of a passive build on Tassadar. That is being played by Zokke here, not going for, yeah, shrink ray or anything around those lines. Instead, like, going straight for the dimensional talent prescience, and we could actually see them, well, we will see him going for a dimensional warp then, which helps him to stay alive like a lot. So at the top lane, it's all about the experience right now. Bottom lane is occupied by the boss, and that should actually help them to move in and take that fort down. I'm a bit surprised that they don't do that just yet. I would have assumed that they would take that camp on the way back, but instead, with the temples activating, that's actually nice timing for them. With the temples moving in, could go for one of those. There is a mule being dropped once more. Temple number 1 is going to be claimed, I suppose, by Stitches. We're having also another camp taken, this time by Kumato Boss, who starts to move in. They drop the mule in the mid lane. Is Gert jumping in to try and take that down? They use Storm for that. Gert jumps in, takes it, and they are just going straight for that fort. So level 16 would be amazing for them. If they get level 16, if SK gets that, and it looks very much like they will, they should be able to contest those temples. Aragi is already waiting for a hook. And for well met, this is a pretty tricky situation. I mean, they get the fort, so they're close to level 16 as well. 16 doesn't hit for any one of them just yet. We're having up at the top lane, this camp still doing work. Over here, Aragi, Snitch, they're all waiting. 16 talent is there, Fishing Hook, double blood for blood, Luna, Blaze. Oh, nice cleanse by Hiruka. Starfall is also being used. He needs to even activate his sprint to get away from this. Get Amherd is already in full retreat, jumping away as we speak. Can Stitches get another hook in? I do not think so, but they can go for the temples. It's not only the hard camp that is pushing the top lane and taking down one of the towers. The bigger problem is also, or another big problem, that they have the siege giant camp against them at the bot lane. But the fight is still happening. If Wellmet loses this fight, they are in trouble. They're in a lot of trouble if they lose here. They need to win this. Nice interrupt against Hazorb. Zokke is super low. They kill the healing ward again, and Wellmet is in a like, they are in so much trouble right now. Even Nomi stunned out on his ETC, and he dies first. ETC already dead. Get Amherd. He might be trying to jump in. He gets shielded by Tassadar once again, but there comes the stun against him, and Get is really, really low, even if he doesn't die. I mean, they already lost nearly the entire wall at the top. They lost the entire wall, actually, against that hard camp. The siege giant camp is still pushing into the bot lane. The first temple is taken, 17 versus 16. I mean, this is really, really bad news. You can see how much damage this is going to do. In the mid lane, already everything attacked here. They dropped the wall as well. They take another temple up at the top. And that temple, is it going to drop? I don't think it's going to drop the keep. I mean, they could try and push in, but they don't have a talent lead anymore. So I suppose they're not going to try and risk it here. But yeah, it's still going to do some work and occupy those mules. There's going to be a lot of work to do for that mule. And it's more than a level that they had. Well, actually, like, it's roughly a level here. So they could go for an approach to, well, maybe like other camps going to be up again. There's a minute on this one. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds on the camps down here. So with that, they have at least a chance to do something. Keep is still alive, by the way. Keep is alive and will be muled up. They can't really drop the keep. So let's see about that mule. Where is our Nazebo? He has mule in 6 seconds. 6 seconds, all that they need. Oh, Aragi using Putrid Bile and Starfall being used. Oh, they get Tassadar! But Zokke moves away. He has Dimensional Warp now as well as Prescience. Oh, they stun him again. Like, wow. Zamoni really hitting those stuns very well here. Oh, nice ult. Great ult by Hazorb, but he does not get a kill, and Gerd had to move away. The hook isn't hitting. Kumato Boss is rather low, but this time the healing ward in the back is also actually doing work and not being killed immediately. Amherd is trying to hunt them down. He's going for Stitches again. The sprint. Hiruka is getting stunned. Snitch moving away. Barricade being used. Very nice retreat by SK. Really well played. Really good retreat by them, and they still have the ult on Snitch. But the hooks from Aragi, they are not hitting right now. They are not hitting. Top lane is still not muled. He needs to drop the mule now. He forgot about it in the heat of the battle. And I don't blame him for it. But Hazobs really needs to start dropping that mule. Or did he drop it somewhere else? No, he didn't. He has the mule available, but he still doesn't use it. He really needs to do so, because that thing is extremely low, and he needs more than only one. He needs to drop the mule once and then use it in the next one as well. This would be the time to use it. There's a lot of time already lost. They took one of the camps over here. They're moving already into the next cruiser camp and trying to get that here. Still no mule being used. Hazoops is wasting a lot of time on that. And as I said, they need more than only one. They need to use the first mule, wait for the cooldown to reactivate, and use the second one. Hook attempt again. There's a lot of pressure on them, and apparently Hazu is not realizing that he needs to use that talent. At the bot lane, we're having that hard camp or that siege giant. Is it going to be a double kill? No, that one is still alive. Midway, this is where the next fight happens, and the temple is being captured. Mule is still not being used, and Hazoops is being dropped. Hazoops is down. That does not only mean it's a 5 versus 4, it means no mule for another 40 seconds. No mule for well Matt, and that is very bad news. Not only for the top keep, it's also about the mid keep that we have here. That is also not being saved from the opponent. So a pretty bad blunder here. 18 versus 18, the talents, and a lot of pressure on well Matt right now. The temple is going to drop this one for sure. If the temple starts attacking the one at the top, yep, this one falls as well. So they lose 2 of the keeps, and well, I guess at least one of them could have been saved. 19 versus 18 in this case, and at this point things are looking extremely good for SK once more. It's of course all about those fights. In the late game, the death timers are so huge that if you lose your heroes now, if you lose one of those fights like big time, then it can be all over. Like your opponent might even be able to end the game just by, from the back of one fight, moving in, dropping 4 to 5 heroes, getting a keep, and then moving straight forward to the core. But of course that 19.5 levels versus 18, that's a big plus for SK now. If they hit the 20, they're in a great position. The next temple is not going to be the 3 temple phase. Boss is about to be taken. Oh, can they jump in? I think they let it happen. They let it happen. It was a smart move by well Matt to at least get that much done, but still we're having the waves now pushing in. The only thing that SK has to do is defend against the boss, and that alone should bring them very close to level 20. They get the waves here as well. They can push that back. They're not going to lose a keep to a boss at this point. And, well, Matt doesn't really have a Stitches. With that, they could have maybe rely on a bit of a hook, but jumping in and taking a target down is very unlikely. So they go instead straight for the defense here. Boss is already dropping AHP really fast, and, well, Matt is still standing there, but they can do very little about it. There's no temple to be activated. So the boss is, of course, a nuisance. It's annoying, but it's not as bad as it might be, and it will bring them very close to level 20, as you can see right now. So they can just like go for the next few waves. Oh my god, that hook against Nomi! But unfortunately Zamoni a bit too fast on his stun. They were aiming not for Zamoni, they were actually aiming for Get Amhead, and that's why he activated that stun so early. So it was not so much a mistake, just a bit of a coincidence here. They don't have 20 yet! They don't have 20 yet, and well, Matt is trying to fight. Stun against Get Amhead, another hook attempt, not hitting. But the level 20 is going to be brutal, and just look over here with another hard camp pushing already in against the core. Well, Matt will have to defend, especially with the catapults also pushing in right now. This is bad. This is 5 catapults attacking the core, guys. This can end the game. I'm not even joking. Like, look at those shields. And that doesn't even account for the temple that is going to drop another key potentially. They are losing. They are losing their core hit points. They need to move back for that, and they don't. They're trying to end the game with a big one fight. They're trying to end the game with a fight. Then Mule has to be dropped at the core instead of at the keep. They're going to lose the last keep. Over here, though, it's a 5 versus 4. Well, 5 versus 5 now, but a split position, and down goes Tyrande first. Soke is low, ETC with the ult only catching Araragi. Hazoops stunned out for a second. Can they get their kills in? Rega goes down. Vala might be dying as well. Snitch is low. They're trying to drop Get Amhead. But yes, 28% on the core, and there's 3 catapults. There's another one, 30% on the core. Oh my god, like this is insane. Down here, Nomi is capturing the shrine. What about this one? This is still alive, but yes, if they attack the core, one attacks the core, there's still a couple of minions. Oh, barely! They barely save it, but just look at that Araragi with another temple taking at the top lane, pushing pressure onto this. 21% on the core. Oh my god, that might be it. That might actually be it. 13%, and the waves just spawn in the last second possible. 13% on the core. They barely made it. Bakery, what is he doing down here? He's killing Nomi. He dies in the effort to do that, but yep, he dies. There we go. We could see a mule once that Tyrande is back. I do not think, is it going to kill the keep? It might, barely. I don't think so. Stitches up at the top lane. Is he able to drop the bottom keep? This is such a close game right now. That mule, Hazops, has to just use it over and over and over again. Vala is being killed. Hazops cannot take this. He cannot take those last few shots. He's too low in experience, but they're hunting. They are hunting everybody right now, and we're having 20 towns for both of the teams at this point. Mule has to be dropped. Where is Tyrande? Tyrande is not using Mule. Zamoni forgot about it, or is he using it up at the top? I don't know, but down here we need a Mule for them. Still 29% on the core for the opponent's team, for well met. They need to Mule that up, and that means they have no Mule available for the keep at the bot lane. This is super close right now. They get the last few shots in. Shots against the, well, yeah, against the well, and also against the keep. So the last keep is already under pressure. Wow, I mean, we have 5 kills against 6 kills right now. Looking at the damage itself, I mean, you can already tell how this is currently going, with all the DPS done against heroes and also against structures. They're 114,000 versus 110,000 on the side of SK Gaming. The damage against heroes with 53,000, the highest on Bala right now, close second. Well, actually, it is the second place, but it's not a close second. Is Sergeant Hammer here. Camps taken everywhere. 37% by now on that core. But waves are pushing in once again. This is about the next team fight here, of course. This is such a brutal game. This game can still go either way, but it's still 3 keeps that we're seeing for SK, and oh my god, Bakery. He went for the advanced Lava Strike. He did not go for Nexus Frenzy, and look at that range that he suddenly has on that. That is amazing. The top lane, it's hard camps going up against each other. They're aiming for the Siege Giant camps now. 45% on the core, thanks to all of those mules, but it's still not a lot. It's still not a lot, and the next temple phase is going to be the one with 3 temples. It's going to be the temple phase with 3 temples again, and that is going to put Wilmette in a very, very awkward position. The boss is going to be back in another 7 seconds, and with that also happening, boss is another threat that they have to deal with. There are so many things on the map that could threaten them. And yes, boss is going to be taken. I mean, they can't really move for that now. At the top lane, look at those catapults and that wave. That wave could end the game. This wave could end the game, and especially since the temples are now here, they have to deal with the wave, they have to deal with the temples. Well, Med has to deal with way too many things. They have to deal with way too many things. Where is that bloody mule, by the way? Zamoni needs to drop that mule. There's one over there already. The fight is happening. Well, Med is going to try and win it with a fight. But can they go for the fight? Just look at the bot lane where another wave is already pushing in and trying to destroy the last remaining keep. Over here, the core is being attacked, or will be in just a few seconds. Zocke had to move back for that. The rotation down to the temple by Aragi, trying to get those shots, and they have nobody at the top lane here, but they don't need to. Yep, those 2 Siege Giants alone are starting to push that in, and here goes the last keep. The last keep is gone, and now it is time to attack the core directly. 3 catapults are helping out with it. Siege Giants are on the way, and the core is dropping in hit points. Oh, Zocke might not be able to make that work. Nope, they're trying to fight for the temple, but 2016! Oh, the kill, and it's over! This is... What? No! It's not game! It's not game! GG's be called, but is it game? 5%! It's 5%, but Nomi dies. And the temple is gonna be activated again in favor of SK. And this is gonna finish it off. GG and well played. SK Gaming takes the best of 3 series with a 2-0 over Wilmette here at the ESL Major League.
SK Gaming with a really solid performance here today, winning the series with a 2-0, doing a great job on Sky Temple here. Rotations on the map were absolutely amazing, and they were able to just take down Well Map without dropping a single map, and that's extremely important for them since we're going towards those playoffs, so you have to make sure that you don't lose any maps here. They all count towards those rankings at the end of the season, and well, so far they've done an amazing job. For Wilmette, of course, they still have to struggle. They need to make sure that they win the next few matches that they play if they want to have a chance at the playoffs. We're of course going to find out if they're able to do that, but that is something that we're going to have a look at another day. For today, we're done, and guys, I hope that you enjoyed those matches today. Give the thumbs up on YouTube if you like the commentary in the games, and if you have any questions, just put them in the comment section. I'm going to see you guys for the next video on Khaldor TV. Have a great weekend, and bye bye.